Hey guys, tonight I wanted to go over how we pulled lists to be able to do our mailings to. Here in Harris County, I use the Stewart Title Harris County website, which is actually a great site to pull lists from. It's the same site that realtors will use to pull information for houses and everything. So you'll get a lot of detailed information off of here, and you can select your criteria by zip codes, MLS area, different criteria like that. So let's go through this a little bit here, and I'll show you how we pull our lists and how I'm able to get my mailouts done by using this list right here. So first of all, when you first come to the page right here, it's probably going to look a lot like this when you first come there. I've already been here, so I was able to, when I come to it, it already has my stuff selected on it. So when you first come on here, this is, again, the Stewart Title Harris County website. So when you come here, this is what it's going to look like. And the first thing you're going to want to do is check the Show Advanced Search Features section right there. And that's going to drop down all the rest of this information. So when we come down to location, I'm really not too much interested in the street numbers or the street names unless you're going for a specific, property or something like that, or trying to find out information about a specific property. Now we come down to city or zip codes. I like to go by zip codes, and what I do is I can pick like 3 zip codes here. Let me pick some, and these will be a good sample zip codes right here. So I've picked these 3 zip codes right here. That's what they allow you, up to 3 zip codes to pick from, or to pick 3 zip codes here to pull a list on. So I'll pick 3 zip codes, and then I really don't care about the map page. I'm not too worried about the grid, the zone, the flood zone, parcel IDs, owner names. Now the next section I'm considering here is the general, where you can select only out-of-state owners, which if you want, you can select that right there, and that'll narrow down your list by a lot. Or you can pick residential vacant table or residential improved. The approved one is the one we're looking for because we're looking for properties. So this is going to help narrow down properties that are just vacant land. Now you will get some that are just vacant land with this because maybe the house was torn down since they've been updated on the county tax rolls or whatever. So but this will definitely help. So you can still get some, but this will definitely narrow it down a lot better. So residential improved data. Owner occupied is the next section I care about right here. And when you hit this in the drop down section right here, I'm looking for no, because I do not want owner occupied. I want non-owner occupied or absentee owner, which means they own the property but they don't live in the property. So there's either a chance of it being vacant or they're landlords, and you have a much higher rate of somebody wanting to sell a property like that than wanting to sell the property they're actually living at. So you can narrow it down and have a better opportunity that way. And like I said a minute ago, if you want to, you can even select the only out-of-state owners, which will narrow down your search even more. But I don't do that. I like to go after all absentee owners, not just the out-of-state owners, because even in-state landlords can be tired, or people move to a different part of town but they still live in the same state. So there's a whole lot of different situations, but I want to just try to hit the people that own houses that don't live in it, and I'm not too much going to go after just the people that are out of state. So the next thing is year built, improved square footage, assessed value, improved value, market value, preliminary value. I do not use any of these. Now, when you get in here and you start using this to pull lists, you can get creative with it and do things that you want to try. You can test, doing year built or certain square footage or you can play around with it and try a number of different ways of doing it. For me, I feel if I can get a property at the right price, then I can sell it, I can flip it. So it's more of a whatever comes across my desk, I just got to be able to get it at the right price kind of thing. I'm not going to worry about the year it was built, or all the other information that I could narrow it down with. But I do care about the deed date and the sales date. Now here it's going to go deed date from, and you go year from and to. I just go to. And I'll pick, say 1999. And I'm just using these example. You can put, different years in there depending. You want to go back at least 10 years, but, other than that, you can try different, years, 15 years, 20 years, depending on what you're trying to hit. If you're hitting a certain subdivision, you'll know more about that subdivision, and you can hit the deed date and sales date from there. So sales date, I don't put anything from the year from either there, and I will put the same date in the to section. So sales date to, the year to, and the deed date, year to. Then I come down on land square footage. I don't put anything from the from either, because like on the dates up here, it'll go from, whatever date they start at, or whatever the oldest date they can find, all the way up to 1999 for sales and deed date. On the land, I don't put anything from, and on the to, I put 20,000 square feet. So that way I'm not getting acreage and big lots of land. I might find a house with a double lot or something like that, but if it gets over 20,000 square feet, that's more of a rural area more than likely, or something I might not want to deal with. I want to be in neighborhoods that have lots of houses, and usually the biggest lots in there are about 10,000 square feet, maybe 15, at the most 20. So I limit it to 20,000 square feet of land. And on the characteristics, I'm not worried about the foundation, which you can pick wood piers, basement, crawl space, slab. There's a whole lot to choose from there. Exterior walls, you can check for, asbestos, brick. I pretty much, like I said, will look for any property, and whatever comes across, it's just my job to, find out what it's worth and then buy it at the right price, so I can sell it at the right price to an end investor, or keep it for myself for a rental property or a rehab property, depending on what you're looking for. Bedrooms, baths, stories. Again, I'm not too worried about that, but if you're looking to narrow it down to, say, 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, you can go 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and leave the stories blank. And this, I'm not going to put any of that. I'm just going to show you the way I do it. And again, when you go through all of this, you can play with all of these different sections. You can change the bedrooms and baths. You can put the value, put a limit on the value you want to hit. We've picked up a $760,000 property before, and we picked it up for $460,000, and we're able to quickly turn around for a good profit. So it doesn't matter to me, staying under $500,000 or $200,000. If I can get a lead on a good expensive property, but I can get it at the right price, that's the biggest thing that matters to me, is being able to pick it up at the right price. So I don't limit myself to a minimum or a maximum. But you can play around with this and find out, however you want to do it. If you want to go after a certain subdivision, you can actually put your subdivision right in this section right here. So you could put a subdivision right in there and just search that subdivision. That's not what I'm doing in this case, but if you want to, you can right there. So after all your criteria is filled out, then you're going to come down to the search button. Hit search, and it's going to pull you a list right here. So this says that I have, it's showing 1 through 20 of 5,387. So that's a pretty good number of properties right there. So I'm going to go ahead and download it. And don't worry that it's so large, like 5,300. You don't have to send them all out at once when you do your mailings. You can narrow it down. Plus, with what I'm about to show you, I'm going to show you how to clean it up and pull out the duplicates and pull out, similar owner duplicates, and pull out the businesses and city properties that you don't want to really send mailers to because they're not going to respond, and you don't want to waste your mailing dollars. So here we definitely want to have checked the property address box and the owner information box, and at that point we want to make sure it's in Excel format, and then we'll hit submit. It's just saying that we've chosen to open this in Microsoft, which should Firefox do with this file. We're going to say open, and you are trying to open the download in a different format. Do you want to open the file now? Yes. Alright, so here is our list. Here's the list we just pulled, and again you'll see there is 5,388 addresses or names on here, or 5,387 because the first number is actually the address, owner name, and all the information tabs across the top. So the first thing we're going to want to do is come over to the owner address to section, which is the mailing address. This is the property address here in the section A. The owner's first name is in section B. F is the mailing address. So we will highlight, if you click on the F tab on top, it will highlight the whole tab going down of owner address, the mailing address. So now we're going to come over to the data tab on the top, and we're going to find the remove duplicates. When you click on the remove duplicates, it's going to ask you if you want to expand the selection, and make sure that button is checked, and then hit remove duplicates, and then it's going to pull up this box here, this table. So we're going to unselect all, and the only one we want to reselect is owner address 2. Now over here in the right hand top corner, we want to make sure that the My Data Has Headers box is checked, because that will keep this box the same. The header, this is your header right here, your address, your owner, first name, middle name, last name, all that information up there. You want to keep that there, and you want to make sure that only the owner address 2 section is checked. So when you got that done, you hit OK. And there we moved 1,037 duplicates removed. So that's leaving us with 4,350 unique values, which is non-duplicate mailing addresses. So we've already narrowed it down by 1,000, so we're down to 4,300 and some odd addresses here. So now we're coming back over here to the first name. We're going to highlight the same way we did the F. We're going to do the B, where we highlight the B, and that highlights the section all the way down. But instead of removing duplicates on this one, we're going to sort this one. And here, if you come to the sort, you want to go to sort A to Z from top to bottom. So we're going to click that. And again, you want to make sure that the expand selection button is checked, right here, expand selection, and then we're going to hit sort. Now what that did is, you can see it put all the owner first names from A to Z. So this is a trick we're going to do now. We're going to come all the way down till we run out of owner first names. remember we have a lot here, so we're going to keep coming down. Here, we just passed it. Okay, you see right here where number 4032 has a first name, and then 4033 has no first name. And this one is Trustmark National Bank, and then the next one is an estate of Mary Hall, it looks like, and then Find a Home LLC, a Korean church, you know, different business names. And you can mail to these people, but more than likely they're not going to respond. And the easiest people for you to deal with are going to be motivated individual sellers, you know, who are selling their own property. You know, if you're dealing with a company, if you're sending mailers to companies like, well, the bank, for one, you know, it's going to go through, you're going to have to get to a loss mitigation person, and then they may not even be able to sell that property at this time. So you don't really want to deal with them. If you're dealing with an estate, there's a much better way of going after estate properties, which is probates. This Find a Home LLC, you know, that might be a company that you might not want to deal with, because obviously they're in the business of real estate. So they may want more than you can pay for it. You know, if you're a rehabber or a wholesaler or a landlord, you know, there might not just be a deal there to be able to work. Now, you could mail to them, but in my opinion, why would you want to do that when you could go through this 4,031 other people that, you know, are individual sellers that might be more likely to sell you a property? So at this point now, we're going to highlight from 4,033. We're just going to highlight all the way down till we run out. There we go. And then we just delete. Now you can see we're left with 4,032, which is actually 4,031 mailable addresses and information now. And that's what we're looking to do. We've removed the duplicates. We've removed the businesses and other entities we might not want to hit. And we're left with 4,031 good mailable addresses. Now you can change this. You can, let me see. Yeah, so you got 4,031 mailable addresses. And you can break this down by highlighting, you know, 500 at a time and making a new list and breaking it down that way. Or you could send all of these at one time. Now what we're going to want to do first is save this file. Save it to where it can actually be uploaded. Say we're going to do the whole thing at one time. So we're just going to say save as. I would put it to desktop or wherever you save your properties to, your lists. It's going to say web page. Mine goes to there as a default on this one. So you're going to want to save it as a comma delimited CSV file. And then you can name it whatever you want to. So you save it as whatever you want to, hit save. It's going to say sample mail list.csv may contain features not compatible with CSV. You're just going to hit yes. That's the way I've always done it, and you just hit yes, and it's going to save it anyway. So now I have that list of 4,031 mailable addresses saved to my computer. So now, whenever I go to mail it out, like if I use, most of the mail, programs you can use, like say you're using Click to Mail, you can upload CSV there. And if I'm mailing it to a mailing house like Ridgeway, which is what we use on occasion, or we use them now instead of Click to Mail, so I can email that whole list to them and tell them, hey, look, I want you to send out 500 a week or 1,000 a week for the next 4 weeks, or whatever I want to do. I can tell them how I want to break it down. So just remember when you're going down, all you're trying to do is get the criteria you want. So in mine, I was looking for certain zip codes. I removed the duplicates, and all that. So if you're looking to do it by zip code or by a certain subdivision, just play around with it and break it down to where it fits your needs and what you're looking to get. And that's pretty much it. It's not a super difficult process, but if you don't know what you're doing, it can be a little complicated. So I hope that was a help for you there. If you have any more questions, watch the video again and try to see if you can figure it out. And like I said, just get in there and play with it, and that's probably going to be your best bet to figure it out. There's nothing like trial and error. So thanks, guys, and we are done. And I will see you on the next video.